So for cooperative learning activities, I had them do a jigsaw assignment. And what pertained for that was they'd be in groups of four. And in those groups of four, they'd have an envelope that opened up and it gave them four readings, such as this one right here by John Lewis, this one on MLK, this one on the SCLC, and this one on SNCC. So these are the readings that are used in my artifacts. They would split these apart into four groups, and in those four groups, they would each independently and silently read for a couple minutes. Nothing too long. These readings aren't, harsh readings. And then they'd explain to the rest of the group what they read. Uh, After everyone shared what they read about, they would get these cards, these jigsaw pieces, if you would, that I have split into their appropriate ones. This would be the one up here would be MLK. This was SNCC. This was the SCLC, and this was John Lewis. Obviously, they weren't put together like this when they were working. They had to actually go through them and split them up themselves to look like this. Um, so they'd have to work together to see who gets which cards. And once they thought they had it, they'd have me check. And if they were right, I'd say, yep, that is right. You can go to the next part. And if not, I'd say, try again. You got a couple wrong here or there. Like you got one wrong here. When they're ready for the next assignment, I would hand them this sheet of paper, uh, which goes hand in hand with this and these readings. Um, it has the four things that, MLK, John Lewis, SCLC, and SNCC. And they would take notes using these jigsaw pieces and these readings. This would allow them to get in a good amount of notes. They would have to trade readings and jigsaw pieces, obviously. So while they're taking notes kind of independently, they still need to work together to fill out the entire sheet. Uh, and they could not move on until everyone had filled out all their notes. This could take a while, but once they got through it, they could finally get to the last thing, which was their ticket out the door. So, ticket out the door is four questions, kind of open-ended. Where do you think MLK had the biggest impact? With like the bus boycott, the Selma movement, March on Washington, and why do you think this was his biggest impact? So, give 2 to 3 sentences on that. Obviously, why do you believe John Lewis and SNCC were so focused on civil disobedience with their protest, and what made this appeal more to them as the younger generation of civil rights leader, unlike the SCLC, who was more focused on legal changes? Again, 2 to 3 sentences for each of those. Do you believe the civil rights movement had chosen to not be peaceful? The demonstrations would still have been successful. And imagine you are the leader of the SCLC. This fourth one was the big one that we discuss at the end of class with each other. Imagine you are the leader of the SCLC and have to organize a new protest. What would you do for your protest, and where would you choose to perform your protest? Uh, it was more to show them how difficult it could be sometimes to organize these kind of things and make them think a bit outside the box about how they would handle things during civil rights. And lastly, these are just some examples students had of their notes. Um, Handwriting not the best for them. But yeah, these are some of their notes. And then this is one to get out the door. And that's all there is to it.